What up? What up? What is up, good people? Top of the day to you. Positive energy. Blessings to those people who are good. Lessons to those people who are bad out there. It is the Bad Wolf, as always. You know me, Mr. James C., owner of blacksite32.com, where you can find all of my good information. If you guys ever see anybody using any of my stuff inappropriately, please report them for bullying, slandering, and defamation of character. I appreciate you. Thank you in advance for the donations. To the people who love me, I love you back. To the people who don't, well, you just have bad taste. All right, now let's get into it. So, this is a press release from the Treasury Department announcing the suspension of the enforcement of the Corporate Transparency Act against U.S. citizens and domestic reporting companies. What are they saying right here? You know what? Let's read the whole thing, and then we'll come back and do a Bad Wolf breakdown. I want to show you guys how I read things and understand the information and how this relates to you. This might seem like just a simple thing, but let's go. Let's see, probably can't read it, right? Yeah, it's not gonna let me do it. Okay, I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way and read it my dang self. The Treasury Department is announcing today that with respect to the Corporate Transparency Act, not only will it not enforce penalties or fines associated with the beneficial, keyword here, guys. You have to know these words. You have to be able to switch between the jurisdictions mentally, look at the key words, and then figure out what they're really saying here. But I will prove it. The beneficial ownership information, keyword in here, ownership. Okay, so once again, we're talking about some somewhat maritime things. Almost anytime you see the word ship, we're talking about maritime. They can't hide it at all. Information, or the BOI, reporting rule under the existing regulatory deadlines, but it will further not enforce any penalties or fines against U.S. citizens or domestic, keyword here, domestic, reporting companies or their beneficial owners after the forthcoming rule changes take effect either. The Treasury Department will further be issuing a proposed rulemaking that will narrow the scope of the rule to foreign reporting companies only. Foreign. We'll get to that. Treasury takes this step in the interest of supporting hardworking American taxpayers and small businesses, that ensuring that the rule is appropriately tailored to advance the public interest. This is a victory for common sense, said U.S. Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent. Today's action is part of President Trump's. I know some people don't like, you guys don't like him. Some of you guys love him. I don't really care. It's about the business. Just keep it professional. Bold agenda to unleash American prosperity by reining in burdensome regulations, in particularly for small businesses that are the backbone of the American economy. Trump gets it. Now, understand that Trump has had declared some bankruptcies, but he also has done some good things, made some money. He's a businessman, but some would argue a great one. Some would say not, but whatever. All right. My personal opinions and things don't really matter. Let's get into the facts. So, right here, they're telling you that this is against U.S. citizens, okay, and domestic reporting companies. So, what are they really saying right here? Well, remember, U.S. citizens are in the family of nationals and whatever else under citizens of the United States. So, this isn't, if you have a social to even be able to get a corporation, then you're regarded as a U.S. citizen. The moment you use your social to get a corporation, you're using it as a U.S. citizen. Domestic reporting companies also then mean your other trusts and things that you use that EIN, cough, cough, wink, wink, to get a corporation, because a corporation can own a corporation. All of these things are essentially corporations or businesses working with each other, because remember, the corporation, corporate, corp is Latin for body, Asian is to animate. So you're animating dead bodies. Dead bodies can only be doing business with each other. All right. You always have to have a transmitting utility, a public transmitting utility, which is what your name is in all caps and your social as used as such. So here it says the Treasury Department is announcing today that with respect to this act, they will not enforce penalties or fines against the beneficial owner. Okay, because here we're who owns a corporation has been private since day one. This goes against your constitutional rights, private law, and things of that nature. You have the right to do business with whoever you want privately, unlimited. So this was a waiting lawsuit if they didn't step in and do this, because I know I was preparing to sit down and say, well, go ahead and send me one if you want. I'll just sue you. The Constitution, my good people, no matter what asswipe, tell any asswipe, whoever tells you, the Supreme Court and the Constitution, natural law are the highest laws in this land. The Supreme Court, the Constitution, highest laws in this land. Everything else is inferior. They are the minor. It's not today, unfortunately, openly talked about and utilized, but in a way it is, because all of this would not exist without it. So even though it is the foundation, we are operating in a maritime bubble. But let's go on. So here they say the beneficial ownership information. Have I not been telling you guys since day one, we are the beneficiaries. That's what they mean by we, the citizens, and essentially in this, the nationals and state citizens who own these things. How can we prove that? It tells you right here, to unleash the American prosperity. American taxpayers. It says the Treasury takes this step in the interest of supporting hardworking American taxpayers. So we hardworking Americans are in fact beneficiaries. That's why it's called the beneficial ownership information. This is also why you can use the W8BEN that says this is a certificate of beneficial ownership. To be a beneficiary, you are alive, you are living, you are natural, you are receiving. Actually, if I remember correctly, Bene, B-E-N-E, is Hebrew. It can mean good or it can mean son of. Okay, it can also mean positive or blessed. Ownership. And once again, then they're muddying it up a little bit because they have the word ship in here, so it's ownership. They could have just said beneficial owners information. So they're showing you by putting the ship in here that this is also muddied in the maritime water jurisdiction. So they're saying that they're not going to enforce it and that they're going to narrow this down because it's common sense that you have the ability to do this privately. You have the right to do business privately. But somebody up the totem pole, some greedy, you know, smoker of pole was like, well, I think we need to know who out there owns companies. That way we can go after them if they owe child support. And really, what would it be? Or something like that. Because what they're saying here is that there's people out there who own companies or part of companies and they can't track you down. They want to know if Bob Smith over here owns Smith Incorporation so that they can say, well, we want you, the company, even though it's still his, to give us that money that Bob Smith over here owes for child support or a fine from the city, kind of like what they do, which is a deprivation of your rights with the passport. They're like, hey, if you owe a debt as a U.S. citizen, IRS debt or child support, they won't let you get a passport. Now, we know what that really is. I'm not going to go into that in this video because there's two things going there. The passport really is for nationals and U.S. citizens. There's two different pages there for both different entities. Gem drop. But they want to be able to say, well, hey, your corporation, if you're paying Jim Bob, we need that money. We found him. We want to be able to find him easier. We want to be able to find him and get that money. But if it's your own company, as a withholding agent, you can say, well, Jim Bob doesn't make enough money here. As a withholding agent, they have to accept that. They may not like it, but you can accept it. Now, there's other ways to deal with that kind of stuff, educationally speaking. Might want to do a consultation if you need one. blacksite32.com, jamesclovett.com, Badwolf Unincorporated.com. For education and entertainment purposes only. Now, and please, people, remember that I do not answer regular emails unless you've bought a product. Then I'll answer one or two. If you're one of the VIPs and support monthly, then you have a chance of me answering an email or two. I do not continuously answer emails. I just can't do it. I'm sorry, time is money. I did thousands of emails for years. I just don't have the time. That kind of burns me out. So if you want one or two or three possible questions, quick, answered, and quickly, then hit the website and pay for it. If you want to talk, then get the consultation from the website as well. Thank you. Thank you. Please don't take it personal if I don't respond to random emails or TikTok or whatever else, or even my own Telegram group. I'm one person. All right. So they want to be able to know what's going on so they can track you down to get your money. You owe a state a debt, they want to be able to try to pull the money. There's lots of ways to protect yourself if you think they're going to come after you for money in your bank account. Once again, education speaking, we work on avoidance here, legal avoidance. All right. And if you're not sure if I may or may not be able to help you with a scenario in relation to the things that I show on my channel, email me and ask me first, and then I'll either recommend a consult or I'll tell you that I do not know it. I won't waste your time or your money like some of these gurus out here who got to hide their name and hide their face and yell at you and talk trash to you and call you out of your name. Have you noticed I don't do that? Yeah, because I'm better than the system. I'm not going to resort to the system's level of degradation. I don't even attack other people. I lightly will mention if you ask privately if I know something about another post on YouTube, if they're good, bad, or other. But I will not do it on the public platform. This is for getting the information out. I'm not some fool or some muppet. I'm not going to fight other people in this area trying to be like, oh, I'm better than so and so. I'm not going to try to go after females on here. I'm better than Bob. Come with me. Let's do a tour. Blah blah blah. Be on my show. That's for boys or immature girls. I don't take part in that stuff. So, but here you notice that they say they're going to narrow the scope to rule that this is only then for foreign reporting companies. So if there's a foreign company, that they want to know. They want to know. And in all honesty, depending on how you look at the word foreign here, generally what it is they want to make sure that, like, say, Russia does not own a U.S. corporation. And if they do, they want to know so they can watch them. What are you doing? What is your company doing here? A potential enemy of ours or whatever else, owning a company here, a corporation, and then manipulating our economy or the American people. So that part makes sense. Now, if you want to look at the dark side, I could see why they want to know which Americans own companies too, because if you're like, say, educationally speaking, a drug lord or kingpin or mafia member, et cetera, they want to know what companies you're doing with your money, making sure you're not laundering money. They want to keep a closer eye on those things. Now, we're not going to talk about how the government itself wastes and spends a lot of money on unnamed black projects, off-site, off-world, et cetera, et cetera. We'll leave that alone. But you, as the American people, really should be asking those questions. It's funny how they want to do as I say, not as I do, come down on the American people. How are you spending your money? And if you owe them $3, they'll spend 100 to get it. But you got these people in these agencies and whatever else, municipalities wasting money left and right, spending $20,000 on a box of washers and crazy stuff like that, and 15 million to a Iraqi gas station that doesn't even exist. And then we got morons out here. You know what? I'm not going to go into it. I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. I digress. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. All right. So you guys get the basic premise here. That's it. So they're not going to enforce this. All the people who've been messaging me on this is the breakdown. They're not going to be enforcing it. And if they do, then you sue them in federal court. And it may have to go to Supreme Court, may have to go to international court, may have to go to a court of courts. We'll see how this all plays out. But that's it, guys. You take care of yourselves. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Wolf is out. I got more stuff to do. I'll talk to you later.